You're listening to the Bring the Thunder podcast, a podcast by fans for fans.
Yes, you are indeed, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the Bring the Thunder podcast. I'm here with Jack and Satvir tonight. OKC takes down the Houston Rockets in Houston, 111-91. Absolute blowout fashion. The second half is really where OKC took control as of normal. Big third quarter. We'll go over the stats real quick before we break down the game. SGA gets his 20 points on only 11 shots tonight. Didn't have to do much for OKC. J-Dub didn't shoot well at all. Looked like the wrist was maybe bothering him tonight, but I'd like to give him a lot of credit. We'll talk about it a little bit later. 5 boards and 10 assists, even with the shot not rolling. Finishes with a plus 11. Chet dominates the first half, 16 points in the first half, 18 total, 9 rebounds, 7 of 9 from the field, 2 out of 3 from deep. Lou Dort, big game, 13 points. Wiggins, 5 points, but adds 5 rebounds. His rebounding continues to be a really nice add to the OKC starting lineup. A.J. Mitchell, 6th man of the year, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 7 of 10 from the field, 3 threes, and 1 miscalled backcourt at the end of the game there, which is very nice. And then Casey and the rest add, solid effort off the bench as well. Fellas, for the Rockets, KD had 19 on 7 of 23. Sengun had 14, 13, and 5 on 7 of 15. I really, really am proud of the effort on the rebounding tonight. They were getting dominated early in the rebounding, especially the offensive rebounds. We let up 23 offensive rebounds tonight, I believe. But in the third and fourth quarter, they really locked in as a unit, didn't really allow much second chance points. And OKC was able to get this victory quite easily at the end, fellas. What are your thoughts on tonight's game?
This might be the first time this season we've made threes. 39% from 3. Feels like I'm watching a whole different team when wide open threes are actually dropping. And I mean, Kaysen had 2, Caruso made 1, Dort made a couple. When those 3 are making threes, it's not a competition at all. It's just that's ball game done. And you're not even including AJ Mitchell having 17 points. So I think maybe we've been focusing on offense recently in the last couple of weeks, but where we've needed to improve on offense has definitely improved, and that's why we're dominating again. And I'm not surprised at all, because when this team is going on offense, no team in the league is close at all.
Right.
And we showed that tonight.
Yeah. What I'll say is, before we kind of get into more basketball talk, before the game, SGA was announced the 2025 Nice Kicks award for Sneaker of the Year for his Converse Shays 001s. So I thought that was awesome to see. And also, I like the start from Chet in this game. I like him aggressive in the early part of the game, because that's when SGA can kind of get a little bit of rest. And I believe he had the first 10 points out of the 12 for the Thunder. So big shout out to him. And then SGA, once again, only taking 2 shots, really scoreless in the first quarter. And rarely we see that happening. And I know every fan in the arena, out of the arena, was afraid for that 20-plus point record. But luckily, he's still, on track. I believe he's going to be 14 away now from beating that. But in the first 3 minutes, Chet with 8 points, 2 rebounds, 3 of 3 from the field, and hit a 3-pointer. And I feel like him and AJ, them as a tandem early on, if they can kind of carry us, let SGA have a little bit of rest, and J-Dub as well, those guys can have more energy for those third quarter blowouts. And I feel like that's a good strategy moving forward. Hopefully we get to just continue seeing Chet kind of being this aggressive self in the first and second quarter. So, SGA in the second quarter, we saw him get 10 points, 4-4 in 6 minutes. So that's where it helps a lot. Like him coasting in the first, letting his teammates kind of get involved and having more energy, because we know he can still score 30 in 3 quarters. So if he decides to take the first quarter a little slower, and I actually prefer that for him being even more dominant for a fourth quarter run.
Absolutely. I'm very proud of, like what you mentioned, SGA didn't have to do much tonight, and the rest of the guys really stepped up. Offense looks very good. Defense was outstanding tonight. I want to say what's up to Indie Sports in the chat. How you doing, man? But really, I want to touch on Chet, and I want to pat myself on the back again because the lock of the night in the pregame hits again. Xavier, I went with Chet over 16.5.
Favorite bet.
Just
Got
such a good game by him tonight. Inside, he was outside of J. Will. He was the big man tonight. No Hartenstein against a very good rebounding team in the Rockets with Sengun and Steven Adams. Held his own down there. Scored really efficiently tonight. I think he finished with 4 blocks. Was really making a statement on the defensive end for a DPOY and All-Star. Props to him tonight. And then AJ Mitchell, again, you already brought him up. I mean, this guy is no longer – I mean, he's just one of our better players. That's the simplest way I could put it. He attacks the rim every night viciously. He's very efficient. He can knock down, the 3-ball. He's super smart. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's excellent on the defensive end, one of our best perimeter defenders. And he's like 99th percentile on interior defense as well with rim protection. So, I mean, he might be one of the most complete players on this team. Adding him and having guys like Aaron Wiggins step into that offensive role in the starting lineup. Obviously, OKC's in a really good spot right now. 5 in a row, just beat the Spurs by 20, beat the Rockets and Houston by 20. This team is taking off, and I don't think they're going to slow down at all because adding AJ Mitchell to a team that just won the finals and Mark's figuring out his offensive rotations, this team is looking really primed for another championship run.
I will go as far as saying that AJ is our second best player at this season. Early on, it was Hartenstein in my opinion, and now I can back AJ as being our second best player. But the thing is, he's not flashy at all. I was talking to Joe about this when we were watching the game together. You won't really see him doing anything unless you look for it. Defensively, it's just all straight to the middle of the chest. Like, he's just so disciplined. And then offensively, he just gets to the bucket. He's got a quick first step, uses his body really well. And it's a bit boring in the sense that he just makes layups and mid-ranges, but it's just so fundamental, so sound. He kind of plays the same way like how Tim Duncan flew under the radar a little bit. That's happening with AJ Mitchell.
So you want to say that AJ Mitchell is so sound and so smart in the sense that you could compare him to Tim Duncan, one of the all-time smartest players ever?
Like in a respective way, like as in,
of course,
how they fly under the radar in all-time rankings and
for
AJ rankings on this team. Like, they get everything done and efficient. Like you said, 99th percentile in rim protection. I didn't know that until I saw it. And when you look for it, you'll see it. Like, no one makes a bucket on him on the rim. And how? Like, he's a 6'3" guard.
Yeah, he's
just been incredible.
He just uses his frame extremely well. We were talking about Xavier. Actually, we were kind of like we know he's that good, but we're just so mind blown because not a lot of players are able to just play downhill whenever they want. And AJ's not a huge guy, but he's got big shoulders and uses his angles very well, and he gets to that rim easily. Like, there was a possession tonight where Reed Shepard isn't a great defender at all and a little undersized, but for him to see that and go directly to the rim and there was no resistance at all, quick bucket, he's fantastic, and he's only going to get better, I'd assume, and he's becoming a guy that we got on the cheapest deal possible. And OKC is going to win a lot of games because of him, respectively. I want to get to some of our members' comments really quick. What up, Austin? Austin's in the chat. No, Gabe's not grounded. Gabe's just been carrying us. Jack and I have been really busy down here in OKC. Shout out, Gabe. Austin, no, we're still down here. We're still down here for another week and a half or so. Maybe a little longer than that. And then Austin also said he was worried about the streak, but Austin, he's going to get there no matter what. He
wanted the ball in their fourth quarter. He was calling for it every play.
He's so good, Austin. I truthfully believe that if he had 5 points going into the fourth quarter, he'd get to 20 without even being a ball hog. That's just how good this guy's become, honestly.
Because he wants to,
But another part. Oh, go ahead, Tim.
I mentioned this about his frame. He's sneaky. He's bigger than he looks or even at his size says he's 6'3". but he has way more balance and control. And when I talk about guys like SGA or J-Dub, mainly SGA, he's the one that you really look towards when you look at peak athleticism when it comes to things you can't physically see. Like everyone looks at SGA and is like, oh, he's no Anthony Edwards, he's no LeBron James, whatever,
Right.
ever. But he's one of the most athletic players in the NBA, in my opinion, from a balance and I guess physicality standpoint, like agility, if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's the thing that I see with AJ as well. What I saw very early on, like he understands kind of how to use his body really well. And you mentioned the angles as well. That's something SGA learned very early on in his career. And that's something that I mentioned about J-Dub. If J-Dub just worked on his angle creation toward the basket, he'd score a lot more because he should be more efficient than AJ at his size, right?
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
AJ is more efficient than he is, or he's able to get to the basket way easier. It looks easier for him. That just shows that he has more strength in his lower half of his body, and that's some of the work that he probably does in the off season. And that's little differences you can see with guys that are just a little bit more hungry, maybe in the gym, whatever it may be the case.
Well,
They're just a little bit harder about using their body and knowing it. And I saw that early from AJ, and also he's an overseas player. That's something to be said about overseas ball is way more
fundamental.
Using your brain. Yeah, fundamental, using your brain, and less about run and gun and kind of things that that are taught maybe in the States. I definitely picked that up playing against bigger size guys over in Europe. So Jack, I know you want to get some.
Well, you're just speaking my mind right now. Like I can transition beautifully off the run and gun statement because I was watching the game tonight and we were thinking like J-Dub should sit down with AJ and just talk about how AJ gets to a 2-foot stop and slows down because a lot of the time, like it kind of looked like J-Dub was getting fouled a little bit, but he's downhill driving, basically going to the baseline, not even the hoop, and he loses control, loses the ball, and he just makes AJ look like a 10-year veteran. Like I would have, if I didn't know basketball, I would assume AJ's been around for a while because he just sees the game. He's so poised, so calm. And that's where his success has been really is just his vision and just his clarity when he's playing is just unheard of really. And if J-Dub can do that, then like you said, Safi, he'll be back to himself.
I mean, I'm no basketball savant whatsoever, but please, I mean, the angle that he generally takes is a little bit away from the basket. And I've said this probably since the start of his career as my only criticism. I just don't get why he doesn't take a little bit more of a clearer path towards the basket. Like he always seems like he's going a little bit further away. Like all of them are a little bit long.
He's fitting away from the basket.
They mentioned this, Joe, in the playoffs, and his body is just too big to be doing that. And I think that's more about not just having the physical tools, but also knowing how to use your body and to use your shoulder and to just create the angle yourself. Like that's something that you can't really teach. You have to learn over time or watch film,
it's
teach
feel
yourself.
Feel for the game.
Yeah, it's definitely a feel for the game, but it's something that you can definitely learn if you watch a lot. Like my prime example, one of the guys that is an American-based player that I watched a lot of, that is probably the best at doing this, is Kyrie Irving. He knows not just every angle of his body, where he takes it to the next level is he knows every angle off the backboard. And not many other players are as efficient as Kyrie going to the basket because of that fact.
Right.
And so if you combine those two things, I mean, you can become a way better player. And we're not trying to give NBA advice to NBA players, but what we're seeing is like Jack's mentioning and Joe's mentioning, just the fundamentals. And I think we should see these guys, stick with the fundamentals and share tips and tricks. And that's why they're on the best team in the NBA, because I feel like, there's something still always to gain from a newer player coming in, even though you're a veteran.
Yeah, and last thing I'm going to touch on that is we saw J-Dub make that leap in the finals last year. He was getting to the rim. The thing I always say is he needs to take one extra step or one extra dribble, and I feel like he's going up a bit early. But in the finals and in the Western Conference Finals especially, he was taking that one extra dribble, and he was getting to the rim. He's starting to develop that kind of like not fading away, but going aside the basket instead of straight to the cup. That's the one problem, but I'm sure he'll get back to that. I'm not very worried about that at all. Getting to one comment before we hit the segment here. Mark, I can't find it, but Mark Espinoza, one of our members, said that it feels like J-Dub gets fouled on like every drive. It does. There, thanks, guys. My answer to that would be a big reason why he's not getting those calls is because he's always going away from the basket. If he's going straight to the rim and he's using his body to go up, they're going to get the foul calls. We saw he was getting to the line a lot in the playoffs, a lot, and because he was attacking the rim and not kind of shying away from it. He gets back to that, he'll be just fine.
Yeah, because when your motion is away from the basket, the defender can get away with a little bit of a push if you're like stepping back or your line is that way. So you're going to get more contact, but it's not a definitive foul.
All right. I absolutely agree with that. Jack, I see an AJ Mitchell jersey behind you. I see an Aaron Wiggins jersey behind you.
You do.
But the real question for me is,
what the is Jack wearing?
it is time for
what guesses in the comment.
What the hell is Jack wearing, I will say. If you guys are new to the stream, Jack wears a Thunder jersey after every OKC win. Yes, Jack and I are in the same house in OKC right now. I promise you, I did not know.
You did not see it? No.
Mark, I think I'm agreeing with you, though. But drop your guesses which player Jack is wearing. We got some – I think I agree with Mark. He's got Kenny. We got AJ, Gary Payton, K-Rich. We got Case and Wallace in the chat. Savir, I'll let you go first.
Man, gosh, he gets me every time. I'm going to go with –
I think you've ever got one right.
I'm going to go with Chet Holmgren.
All right.
I don't know if it's a blue jersey or not, but I see a logo, so I'm guessing it's a current player right now. He's not getting this with a past player.
Very good. Very good thought process there.
Yeah. You're on to it.
See, I should know this, but he bought like 10 jerseys in the shop. Like, I can't even keep up. So, yeah, Bengals is saying, watch it be Shea. I'm going to go with Kenny. Kenny's been on a roll. We were talking about him during the game a lot. How important he is to the team. I'm going to go with Kenrich.
Okay. Oh, obviously the Loves patch. That means it's not from down in New Zealand, so I got it here. I want to show off my new jersey. We're wearing a Kenrich jersey.
Yes.
Shout out to Mark and Leone and obviously Joe. But tonight, I actually have a bonus jersey. I picked one up, found it really cheap online. Yeah, I was... late night doom scrolling and found it. So if anyone can guess this jersey that I have on underneath the Kenrich Williams jersey, I'll even go
further with this. Members only. If you're in the chat, if you could guess this, okay, you just showed the number.
I did not. No.
Well, if you guys,
let's see.
I was gonna offer an incentive.
To
members if they could guess it. You know what? I'll offer an incentive if you guys can guess which OKC blue player Jack is wearing. We'll DM us on Instagram and you could. Yeah, Mark saw it. Mark saw it.
Yeah, Mark, you've gone 2 for 2 tonight. I'm wearing a Chris Youngblood OKC blue jersey.
Mark, DM us. You still are owed something. Damn
hey,
shit.
Austin Roberts, that's a pull. Dylan Jones, if I had it from last season, but.
Same number. All right.
Sweet.
Back to the game. Another point I really wanted to talk about is I know Houston's been struggling a bit, but this is kind of something Xavier and I talked a lot about over the offseason where we weren't the biggest fans of their trade for getting KD anyway. We thought, they had a good foundation. They just needed another player, not, trade away Dylan Brooks and Green for just KD. But obviously Houston, they got to win against the Bulls, but they lost 3 in a row before that, 2 against the Blazers, 1 against the Kings. But I want to give us a lot of credit because 91 points is not a lot. And going into Houston and only letting up 91 points where we're down Hartenstein and they have Adams and Şengün, that's a really big accomplishment for this team right now. What do you guys think?
I mean, I'm looking at it. Looking at the bigs and what they shot tonight, they really relied more on Kevin Durant over Şengün in terms of the amount of field goals taken. probably wouldn't prefer that as a strategy moving forward. I think he's at the age where he should be closer to 12 to 15 shots per game, and he took 23 attempted field goals, and Şengün only had 15 in this one. Feels like Amin Thompson had a lot of shots, and I think Steven Adams low-key should get more shots than 6 because he usually makes a lot more of his percentage, especially because he's going to be close to the rim.
I think you're right. I don't want to interrupt you, but I think that's a really good point because when he was close to the rim, he was making every one of his little floater touch shots. So I think that's a really good point.
Yeah, and he's not one of those back to the big basket or bigs that's back to the basket where he'll stop the play because he takes the shot pretty quickly. He takes only 1 or 2 dribbles. He's not, clogging the paint or causing 3-second violations and he's a really good passer outside of the paint as well. So I feel like they could go to him a little bit more. But Şengün should be the main guy. And I guess this is the problem when you have a guy like Kevin Durant, when you think of top 10 offensive player, this isn't 2016 Kevin Durant. This is 2026 Kevin Durant. And I think 10 years later, the shot starts wearing down on you. And I think we've seen that over the last 3 or 4 seasons. Every team he goes to, they don't really get out of the first or second round. And I'm honestly thinking that's what's going to happen to this Rockets team. They don't have the offensive punch because he was supposed to be the guy that brings that. And he also lacks on defensive end. And I just feel like having a guy like him, you over-rely on him because of how good he can be. And I feel like he can only do that maybe once every, 7 to 8 games. And that's not good.
He'll slow down over the season. Like you said, we've seen it the past few years, especially going into the playoffs. Just was never a fan. You guys can go check out. I mean, I'm not going to make you guys go check it out, but when that trade dropped, I think it was Xavier and I alone. We broke down the trade and we were just like, is that where you want to go? You got a young roster. You just won a 7-game series with Golden State, looked really good, and you just want to trade for an older, Kevin Durant, sign him to that big deal. I'm not a big fan of that.
I like the move. Suns getting Dylan Brooks. He's a better defender.
Yeah,
I think to defend the Rockets here though, without a true decent starting point guard, you have to look to other players to have the ball in their hand, and they tried with Amin Thompson at the point guard, and that didn't really work. So you're kind of forced to give the ball to KD, and he's not exactly a facilitator. So when he's got the ball in his hand, he's going to put up more shots. And I think once they get Fred VanVleet back, the offense should be rolling more. I think they'll find the bigs more, but it's such a unique position to be in because they don't want to get used to it either. Having not a point guard, because when Fred VanVleet comes in, I think they will be a decent team. But yeah, I think it's just that awkward stage without having a true point guard and being in a position where you can't trade for one.
Yeah,
really.
They're talking about maybe VanVleet coming back for playoffs, but I don't necessarily see how that's going to benefit them.
Stupid, yeah.
Last point about the Rockets. I mean, then you got next year, you got a year older of Kevin Durant. I mean, you still got your young guys coming up, but not.
Yeah. Also, I was going to mention Chet Holmgren really dominated their bigs on the other end. I mean, 4 blocks tonight, 2 steals, really efficient from all over the floor.
Yeah.
That's really all you can ask from Chet. And I feel like the game he's been playing recently, he knows he's been known what his new role is. And I've talked about it, plenty of times, being efficient around the basket, taking a lower amount of threes, and also just expending more energy on the defensive end. And that's really where it leads us to more wins. And I feel like currently with Kaysen having that injury that popped up, I think Chet's definitely taken the lead for DPOY. It's a 2-man race, and both of them are on the Thunder.
Yeah, I think Chet's, as of right now, it's early in the season still, but I think he's looking really good, especially you mentioned it. He's kind of honed in on the defensive side, kind of locked down, and the offense is just coming to him. 4 blocks tonight, I think 3 against Miami, maybe 3 against the Spurs as well. He's stacking them up, and this is what OKC needs, is leading the fast breaks and all that good stuff. All right, we're just over 26 minutes in. I do want to mention before we get into Sapvir's segment, tomorrow, really exciting stuff. Our episode is Anthony Morrow. We interviewed Anthony Morrow days ago. on YouTube tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central. That'll drop. If you guys want to check that out, go ahead. He's such an awesome guy, and we talked to him about a bunch of stuff, and he was so insightful. So a lot of fun. Anthony Morrow, ex-Thunder legend. So go check that out tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central. And also, if you have Instagram, follow us on TikTok, stuff like that. We'll have a bunch of clips coming out from that interview as well, and then a bunch of street content as well that we've been doing very shortly. But I do want to get into our second segment of the night. This one, I'm very interested. I haven't been on the live WhatsApp here in a little while, so I'm very excited.
Welcome to Satvir's Quarter.
Yeah, I'm going to take this time not to bring up any stats or do a bench start cut because I don't feel like there's players that are worth doing it for this. But I am going to take this time to shout out Chet Holmgren, not just for the DPOY bid. I want everyone in here that hasn't, I don't know if All-Star voting has ended or whatever, but if there's analysts watching, whatever may be the case, I think as Thunder fans, we should be pushing for Chet Holmgren definitely to make the All-Star bid because I feel like he'll get first team all defense. He'll win the DPOY. And in that case, if he's winning both of those in a season where we're the first seed, he should definitely be an all-star, and I don't want him to get snubbed in this type of year. And I feel like that's worth talking about in this moment because we're at the midway point, and I haven't heard enough about his name come up when it comes to the all-star as much as I thought it would. I mean, we're a 1 seed. We're the back-to-back champions, and I feel like the amount of hate with the Thunder is, gotten out of control, obviously, but that shouldn't bury a player that, fully deserves to have an all-star season. And so I just hope that isn't the case, and I hope Thunder fans stick up for him more moving forward. So if you guys are watching, please, I need everyone to mention Chet as a all-star moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean, he had a little rough stretch, but so did the whole OKC team. He's averaging 18 points in 29 minutes. Most efficient season so far of his young career, 57 from the field, 37 from three. Pretty damn good shooter. 78 from line, pretty good for a big guy. 8 rebounds and 2 blocks. The guy is deservingly so, and I believe they're doing that World versus USA All-Star game anyway this year. Chet should absolutely be on that USA team.
Yeah, just gotta hope the media and coaches. Well, I mean, I know that they know ball and they'll vote for him, but I just hope that the fans won't swing it hard enough for him not to make it. But like Shea said, he deserves to be there.
Yeah, Shea said that in the post game. And Shea also said, Satvir, just to make you feel a little bit better, he'd bet his own money, that Chet's an all-star this year. So that makes me pretty confident, pretty happy about that. Indie Sports, I got to ask you a question. If you watch baseball, and I'll keep this really quick, Kyle Tucker just signed a huge deal with the Dodgers. How? What? All right. Indy, get back at me in the comments. But, fellas, do you have anything else tonight? I mean, this is just such an outstanding win for OKC. Really back on like a nice, steady path, dominating the better teams in the Western Conference, right? We just took care of the Spurs, took care of Houston, and heading into this 4-game road stretch, I mean, I'm very confident where this team's going.
Yeah, I forgot about it, but Kenrich Williams, he's very good at basketball, and I wanted to shout that out. But
yes, good shout out, really good shout out. He's been so good.
Yeah, and the other thing is he's been, I wouldn't say hated on, but I feel like he kind of slips out of that relevancy to the more casual fan just from being end of the bench, a role player, and I've just seen him in like every time that the Thunder lose. Kenrich Williams, 2 first-round picks for this and that. And I think if you watch the games, then you'll realize how impactful he is and how much we actually need him. He's one of our older players. I just wanted to say he had a very good game. Watch that, pushing his agenda, just trying to keep his respect for the team, because some of the stuff recently has got me a bit worried because I don't want Kenrich to leave this team.
Yeah, I definitely don't either. I think he's been playing so good. He was injured to start the year. People forget. And he's been fantastic, both defensively and offensively. May I say that he's the one who turned this season back around? I mean, 21 points in Memphis in that comeback
Memphis
win.
game. And we've been
That's
playing
what's
good
up.
ever since that third quarter. The
Yeah.
ball movement, everything has been good, and that was sparked by Kenny Hustle. So
Oh, yeah.
I feel like most of our runs are sparked by when Kendrick is in the game, and he just knows how to bring the energy, whether he's scoring or not, or he's missing. He could miss probably 10 shots in a row. And I feel like another guy that takes the lead on bringing a lot of energy when they do enter the game is another guy like Alex Crusoe. Both of these guys know what the team needs, and it's just a lot of hustle. I mean, Kenny Hustle's name is essentially what he does every single time he's out there. And it doesn't matter what his age is, he understands kind of his role and what to bring to the team. And I feel like when you get a guy when you're a little tired that comes in with that type of mindset, it just brings everyone else up. And definitely a worthy shout out. And you need two guys that are at least older than the rest of the group to kind of lead them, because sometimes when you're in the game, you can kind of get lost in the sauce and not realize kind of the moment. And I feel like Kenny and when Caruso gets into the game, and I think Mark purposely puts them in certain moments, especially high leverage moments, they're really consistent from a playoff perspective. I mean, when we saw those guys come in the playoffs, I wasn't thinking, oh, they're not going to do what we need them to do. And sometimes with the other guys, since they're a little bit younger, a lot less battle tested, I'm not as sure as I am with those two guys. At least, at the very least, I know they're going to be coming in locked in. And I'll say that's a lot more of that's a harder expectation to have, to be that consistent every single time, than to rely on some of the bench guys to put up a lot of buckets or be a specialist. And their specialist ability is to bring energy to the floor.
Absolutely. Get to a few of these comments before we head out of here. Indy, absolutely. Austin's got to hit us up, and we got to get that going. Mark Espinosa is going to be on here too eventually too. We got to reach back out to him.
Yeah,
Indy,
any members,
man.
you can join at this time. Like end of the show when we're done, you can get on if you're a member and just talk about whatever you want. So
absolutely, Austin as well. We appreciate you, man. It's been quite the start of this season. Again, to everybody who's been watching and tuning in, subscribing, joining the premium memberships. Jack and I are in OKC because of you guys. We're having the time of our lives. We're getting a lot of stuff done for this show, but it's really based all because of you guys, and we can't thank you enough. So one last thank you before we head out of here. You guys, anything else before we head out?
I got a little bit more of a comment to make.
Absolutely.
Our record is 35-7. We've turned our season around. We're on 5 straight wins. This is 2-0 versus Houston. We have 20-plus blowouts on back-to-back Western Conference contenders. I feel like the hype around us not being as good as that Golden State Warriors team has died down so much, to the point where I know we're not going to chase that record, but I do think 70 wins is still out there for us. And with the way we're playing, I think that should be realistically attainable, especially with us being healthy and with us being back on track. That forces Isaiah Hartenstein not to get rushed back onto the floor, because we did see we saw the report that he was going to come back, and he hasn't came back yet. And I think that's a positive sign than a negative one of, okay, hey, we don't need to rush this guy back. I think that was more of them being like, oh, crap, we're losing a lot of games, and they know Hartenstein can fix a lot of different things for us. So I'm glad the rest of the guys kind of just took this little span of games, and January is usually a really slog of a moment for these guys, because it's so boring for them, especially after winning a championship like this and you win so many games in a row. You do kind of hit a slump at some point, and we hit ours. And I think the way we got hit all at once, I think it was worthwhile to go through that. And now we know what losing feels like, what not winning by 15-plus points wins like, and all the guys have felt that enough to where they're like, all right, now we can just go back to winning again.
Yeah, I think it's a outstanding remark to end the show. I agree with everything you just said. We will be on Saturday at the Heat. We're starting a little Eastern Conference road stretch. Heat, Cavs, Bucks. We'll see you guys all then. Again, go make sure you check out the Anthony Morrow interview. It was so dope, and he had some really cool stuff that especially big time OKC fans would want to hear about. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel, sub to the premium memberships. If you like the video, like the video. It's free to do. And we will see you guys When will we see them? You'll see us tomorrow. We'll see you guys Saturday for the Heat pregame. Wait a minute. Are you guys hearing that? I didn't see any Q in the chat. I didn't see any Q.
Nothing.
I didn't see a Q. Indy, I didn't see a Q. It's kind of unfortunate because without the Q, nothing could happen. Without the Q, nothing could happen here. We might just sit on live for the next 24 hours.
Yeah, someone later then.
I think they'd enjoy us to be on for 24 hours.
I think we'll do that one day. There we go. We got on. We got Indy. We're making up for Gabe the other night. Thunder up, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.